What's up, guys? Welcome to the first episode of For the Drummers podcast. I'm your host, Sterling Whiteside, and I got my boy Eric Lee with me. And we're just here, to talk about everything drums related, from gigs to stories to gear to experiences. And I think, what better way to start it, with my boy Eric, man,
That's right.
So what do you want to start with today?
I want to know, because this is a common question
Right.
amongst all drummers, really. Who's the GOAT?
Whew.
Who's the best to ever do it in the history of our instrument that we know and love?
So are we talking about like who's our GOAT or who's considered the GOAT?
Obviously, it's subjective, right?
Yeah.
I mean, as long as you can make a case for it, as long as you can stand behind your opinion and give me reasons as to why you think it's this person. Otherwise, it's fair game.
So you give me your top three.
I mean,
GOAT, like greatest of all time. You got to remember that. That's what GOAT stands for. Greatest of all time.
Yeah. So for me, there's two that come to mind immediately.
That's crazy because I have two as well.
Dave Weckl.
Wow. Who's your second one?
Vinny Colaiuta.
Okay. All right. We can agree on one of those. And actually, Vinny could be my third.
I mean,
but
I
my
don't know.
second is Dennis. I would go Dave and Dennis.
Dang.
Because of the impact that Dennis had in the funk from Parliament on to becoming a well-renowned clinician, on top of not just being, I mean, he came up, what was he, 17 playing with Parliament?
Yeah, I don't know.
I think he was a teenager. I think he was still at home with Mon Dukes and, touring the world with one of the craziest and wildest funk bands in history.
Yeah.
And I think for me, why I said Dennis is because of the transition from going to being just a funk guy to being one of the GOAT clinicians to, still doing it, to a high level today,
Yeah. And amazingly, he battled through all his health issues.
Yeah.
And he's still going strong. So, I mean, but the third one is tough because it's hard for me to not put in just my personal opinion, which goes outside of
the GOAT conversation.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still up there,
So I got a question.
Yeah.
We have past GOATs, but then we have like guys that we consider the GOATs in this era.
Well, so that's not what GOAT means.
Yeah,
right?
But it still can be because like
greatest of all time.
Well, times change.
Dead or living.
Times change.
Of
course.
Like
I would have to add Tony Williams in there.
Sure.
Because he was monumental to
Absolutely.
the jazz and to the way people play jazz.
Absolutely.
So that would be my third. I think I would go with Tony as my third.
So who's your full three then? You got Weckl, Dennis, and Tony?
Yeah. And I feel like it's not fair because it's so many. Oh man, that GOAT conversation.
Yeah.
It's so many that are influential to the game, and then they're the ones that are influential to you.
Of course.
And
of course.
That's why I left it at, Dave and Dennis, because they were Dave, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like being 14 and my first time seeing Back to the Basics, or what was it called? Back to Basics?
I think so, yeah.
That was my first time even realizing like I could put a rudiment into a groove.
Yeah.
And I went, whoa, like my whole process of how I played drums changed.
Yeah.
Like,
So for you then, what qualities are you looking for? What qualifies someone to be considered the GOAT? Let's say take your personal opinion out of the matter.
Yeah.
And just look at, you can't really say stats because we don't have stats.
It's kind of considered stats.
But just
we're athletes,
skills.
Man. We're drummers, but we're athletes.
It's true.
But
what does it take to you? What does it take for a drummer to be considered, to be put into that conversation?
Well, first you need stamina, strength. No, I'm messing. Consistency, growth, impact. Because one thing about both of those is they had consistency, growth, and impact.
Yeah.
And outside of that, I mean, I don't know what else you're looking for when you're looking for a GOAT.
Right.
Like, those are the three, because there's a lot of people that are consistent.
Yeah.
They've been playing the same way
Sure.
a long time. Not saying that the way they're playing is bad.
Yeah.
But it hasn't pushed me.
So I think, to your point, I think I just figured out my third. Jojo Mayer.
Wow. See, that's why this conversation is crazy.
Because to your point, that growth. I mean, Weckl is my top. If I got to put him up against anybody in a battle, so to speak, my money's on him, right?
Man.
So for the reason, I mean, he literally had that entire evolution series.
Man.
When he
Impact.
When I talked to him about it, he studied with Freddie Gruber, and he literally changed sticks, right? You can see those burgundy sticks, and then the evolution sticks, totally different model. He changed his whole feel, his technique. He evolved in the midst of him already being one of the top guys. And he was like, this isn't good enough. Let's do better.
And even with his cymbals, it changed the sound of how you played and what you were looking for as a drummer. Like you were like, oh, and they were expensive for me back then, but not as much now. But
worth it though.
Yeah.
So but to that point, I think I put Jojo Mayer as my third because he was one of the, if not the top jazz guy for a long time.
Yeah.
As a younger dude. And then he kind of took a step back for a little bit.
Yeah.
And then when he came back, it was totally different style. He started doing that organic drum and bass stuff and the electronic thing. And trying to recreate electronic sounds, but with acoustic drums. And I mean.
So I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Where do you put Benny?
See, that's where it's tough because Benny is my personal favorite.
I know. That's why I asked.
Yeah. So there's a lot of aspects when we talk about qualifications.
He qualifies.
Of course.
And I don't mean to interrupt, but if I'm 17 right now, Benny would be my guy.
Yeah.
Like he would be one of my top three.
So one of the things and
let me say a reason why I say that before you guys chop me up in the comments. What I mean is I didn't grow up with Benny.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is with a 17-year-old, he's going to grow up with Benny, 18-year-old.
He's not that much older than us.
I know. That's what I mean.
Yeah. So I didn't find out about him until 2016.
That's what I'm saying.
Right?
Yeah.
And at that point, it was a mind blower. I knew about all these other people we've mentioned, and I'd listened to them a ton. But then hearing him, it was like, whoa.
That's how I felt.
This guy's on another level.
That's how I felt like hearing Chris Coleman.
Yeah.
When I seen him in person.
Yeah.
I went, wait a minute.
Yeah.
I'm not practicing enough. Like, you know, him coming to AIM.
Yeah.
And they let me get a chance to, tech for him and set up for him. And shout out to Chris Coleman too, because you were charging a certain amount for those, one-on-one lessons. But I had a guy that knew you, and I was broke at that time. I was eating a pizza. It lasted me 3 days. Like I was taking a Little Caesars pizza, and it would last me 3 days. But you allowed me to pay $20 for that lesson. So shout out to you for that, man. That was really dope.
He's one of those things. He was there when I was there too. He came into the thing, and he just has that spirit about him. I think what makes him so fun to watch, so captivating as a drummer, aside from just how talented he is he's having fun.
Dude.
You can see it on his face.
Dude, that is
like he
makes
without having an ego about it, you can tell that he loves how he sounds.
And he knows how he sounds.
Yeah.
And that's what I like about him. Like it's basically the same thing you said. Like, he's having fun, but he knows he's killing.
Yeah.
Because he's taking the time to get to that level to where it's fun.
Right. So instead of the top three, if we would expand it one more, say a Mount Rushmore, 4.
Oh, you're going to my Mount Rushmore.
Weckl, Vinny, Jojo, and Benny. And here's the thing. Here's why for me, those guys. 3 out of the 4 are also educators.
Okay.
Weckl has a whole online school. Yeah. Benny has put out many books. He does camps, right? Jojo has multiple DVDs and books, right? As far as I know, Vinny doesn't, but that's just because the man is literally
he doesn't have to
studio gig to tour dates to studio. I mean,
Mount Rushmore.
He's constant. So, but for me,
so we got
being an educator is big because I've been teaching for 10, 15 years now.
Yeah.
So these guys that obviously their skill level is top notch, but they're also so knowledgeable in what they're doing, they can break it down
And share
into
it.
a simple way
Yeah.
and share with other people. Yeah, and help other people. I mean, I don't know if you've looked at Benny's books. He wrote like a whole nother language
Didn't
for
know that.
music.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got like a whole system he set up specifically for drums.
I'm gonna need to borrow
It's
that.
like outside of regular sheet music. It's I mean, the dude's brilliant, right?
Yeah.
And you'd think too, like obviously he's not lacking for gigs, right?
No, he
His
does
phone's
own
probably
thing,
ringing off
too,
the
yeah.
hook, but he also loves it so much. He's
He
like,
does his own thing.
yeah, how do I help the next
I
generation?
think that's where we all want to get to. I'm not gonna leave that conversation. We're gonna go back. So
Yeah.
who are your Mount Rushmore? And that's crazy you said Mount Rushmore, because that's what I ask people
Yeah.
on my channel about the Mount Rushmore, and I've never had to answer this.
The more we talk about it though, I'm like, all right, if we started with top 3 and then 4, if you said top 5, my 5th, I'd be going,
It'd be me.
Huh?
No, for me, my top 5 would be me. The reason why, because if you don't love what you do, why are you doing it?
Oh, ooh. Okay.
Yeah, I would have to add myself in the top 5, even though I know I have work to do. If you don't love what you do, why are you doing it?
Have you always felt that way?
No, but over the last 10 years, I've definitely understood, why am I doing this if I don't love it? And I don't love what I'm doing and why I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I have to be my top 5, maybe
That's
1,
fair. That's fair.
You know.
Yeah, if you don't like
And
the way
I know
you sound,
I'm trash in some areas, but I love what I do.
if you don't like the way you sound, then you're not practicing enough. You know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I don't have a Mount Rushmore. I can't put 4 drummers and stay there. I don't think I could do that.
Meaning your answer changes too much?
Yeah, it's too fluid because of who inspires me. And I'm gonna be real. I don't watch at this age. I don't watch a lot of drummers because I don't want to sound like anybody. So
Sure.
I'll watch more interviews about their life and how they transition from being a studio cat and how they recorded albums and things of that nature. But it's hard for me to watch so much drumming because I don't want to sound like nobody else. And
Yeah.
I think I've done a good job of not sounding like anybody.
That's fair. I have noticed if I'm listening to one person too much,
it's gonna come out in your playing.
Yeah. And I'm like, ooh, this is.
Yeah. And then if you're listening to someone in a genre you don't even play,
yeah,
you're gonna be trying stuff on a gig like that doesn't fit. But man, so who are your Mount Rushmore? Say them again.
So Dave Weckl,
Dave,
Vinny Colaiuta,
Vinny,
Jojo Mayer, Benny Greb.
Benny Greb. Man, that's hard.
I know.
That's a hard 4 to come up against, man.
And don't be mad at me because they're all white guys. It's just
I don't give a shit. Excuse my language.
So I have a question for you then. Aside from our personal opinion, who do you think in the entire drum community fits that title? Because I think a lot of people might hate on us for not mentioning Buddy Rich.
Yeah.
Or taking it back. Steve Gadd. Yeah. But
well, they weren't like they're great drummers. They just weren't influential to me. Like they didn't have that much of an impact. It might be my age.
Yeah.
Like it might be I think I grew up on too, because my dad put me on a lot of funk.
Yeah.
So
I think that's a big part of it, is the style of music, because Buddy was doing all big band stuff.
Yeah.
Nobody our age grew up listening to big band.
Zero big band.
Of course, there's plenty of drummers that listen to it now. Yeah. There's plenty of drummers that listen to it now because of him.
Yeah.
Right. But otherwise,
I would love to play it.
Yeah.
But I wasn't. My dad didn't put on the big band album on Saturday morning.
Right.
It was James Brown.
You can't argue against his influence, of course.
Absolutely not.
But so here's another, we talk about qualities, right? I think the hallmark of being a great drummer is being fluid in at least a few styles.
Yes, absolutely.
Right? Obviously, there are guys who've made amazing careers out of doing just one thing, which is totally fine. But to really like reach that pinnacle of a drummer, you got to be well-rounded to an extent.
I agree.
Like some of my favorites ever, like Vinny.
Yeah.
He'll go play with Jeff Beck and he's doing all this crazy double bass prog stuff. And then he goes and plays with Sting and now he's playing pop. And both of them, you're like, this is.
But that's why I think I had Dave and Dennis on there, because they're both fluent in double bass, both fluent in funk, both fluent in fusion.
Yeah.
Like they can sit on any gig.
Right.
They can play for Shaka Khan, or they can, they can move however they want to move.
Yeah.
And that's why I don't know who my next two would be. I know I would be number 5.
Okay, so aside from you, give me your other 4. Dave, Dennis, Tony Williams.
I don't know. I feel like if I put him in there, I'm leaving somebody out.
Well, yeah. I mean, this could go on and on forever, but
I know, man.
But so to you then, when it comes to all the different qualities that a drummer has to have, I personally, for whatever reason, I'm not huge on drum solos.
Man,
of those 4, I'll listen to those guys.
Yeah,
solo.
I feel you.
But even then, it gets tiring, like pretty quickly. I feel for me, whereas other guys that's all they want to hear is just drum solos.
Well, I think I enjoy the drum solos because having a marching band background, I like to hear everything, how people use the kit.
Sure.
Because eventually that's a part of something I want to incorporate in my career.
Yeah.
And so I like how people conversate with their drums.
Yeah.
How they weave in and why they did what they did to get to here.
Yeah.
That's why I like Chris.
Yeah.
Because he'll play something in 9/16 or, and have the crowd clapping in different time signatures is wild to me, which is, probably the first time I ever seen that.
Yeah.
Is the way he uses the crowd inside of his solos. And that's what I appreciate about solos.
Yeah.
Like the authenticity, like the difference, like somebody bringing something I've never seen. Now, I understand what you mean. Like, and if they're always soloing, like.
Well, not just that they're always soloing, just I personally don't listen to that many solos, or I don't pull up YouTube and just watch drum solos for hours. It just.
Yeah, I couldn't do that
because the chops and the fireworks and whatever you want to call it, it's cool, but
it has its place.
I want to hear the music.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The guys that, as you know, the guys that are gigging the most, they're not really known for soloing. They can, but you look at a guy like Stanley Randolph, that dude is I don't even know if he has a home because he's on tour so much.
Yeah,
right?
and he knows how to make the drums talk in a record.
But he's a groove machine.
I need to find out what records he's on.
Oh,
because he can make just live.
Yeah,
he can make the drums talk, man.
Yeah, no, he's a groove machine.
But I think the same thing about Larnell.
Yeah, there's another one, man.
But that can solo.
Yeah.
And it's not, and the way he uses all the drums.
Yeah.
Like he'll use the side of the drum. He'll choke in them. It's the way he uses the solo that's, impactful to me. And that's the type of solo and I appreciate. And I'm not knocking nobody else, whatever else they do.
Yeah, of course.
But, I will agree. I can't go to YouTube and watch 30 minutes of solos.
But in order to reach that status, I feel like that's got to be a part of it in some way. Just to show
you
the
have
freedom.
To.
Like,
yeah.
I mean, that was one of the craziest things to me, watching Weckl solo, new solo every night, 5 nights in a row. And there'd be times where
let me preface that by saying he was teching for Weckl, by the way. So he's not gonna tell you, but I'll tell you. He was actually teching for Weckl, which was pretty cool. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
That was a great experience. Yeah. And he's awesome dude. It meeting him, you hear stories about, who he is, whatever. Everybody's got a bad thing to say about someone famous, of course, but
I've never actually heard anything bad about Dave.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I won't get into it. I'm not going to badmouth him at all. I have nothing bad to say about him. He's an awesome dude. You can tell pretty early on why he is who he is. He is a highly focused individual, but as long as he's been doing this, man, he treats every gig, every venue like
the first one,
like it is the Super Bowl halftime show.
Oh,
even during sound check, he is 100% focused.
That's what I like about Sonny Emery too.
Yeah, and so with him, man, watching him come up with these solos every night, and there'd be times he'd do something, I'm like, ooh, was that kind of a mistake? And he would turn what I thought was into a mistake into part of the solo and make it like another lick that he'd come back to. And I was like, golly, like just the freedom.
So that I'm not gonna name the venue because they're in trouble. That you tech for him here in Atlanta. I'm not gonna say the venue.
Okay.
Because a lot of people haven't been paid.
It doesn't surprise me.
A lot of people. Like one person just took it to the news for the
surprise me.
second time.
Yeah.
But you know, I actually, when you were taking for Dave there,
Mhm.
I actually went to the wrong location. And so I'm like, I got to see Dave. It was $100. I was like,
Yeah.
cool, I'll pay it.
The place
you
is
know.
tiny, man. I felt bad.
That's-
As soon as we walked in, I was like, come on. We
Well-
just left City Winery in Nashville,
yeah.
which is our beautiful venue.
Yeah, then you come
And we
to
walked
that.
in there. I was like, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you fit that kid on
Three.
there. But anyway, sorry,
Yeah.
let me. So
Getting
I
off
drive
topic.
to the wrong location, 30 minutes out of the way. And then I drive all the way back to there and I get there. Now I'm there.
Yeah.
And it's sold out. And I'm standing at the door and I'm just creeping in. And I'm like, if nobody says anything, I'm just gonna stand here at the doorway. So I'm standing in there. Soon as I walk in, his solo starts.
Yeah.
And I'm like, thank you, Jesus.
Yeah.
And so maybe like 5 minutes. His solo was quite a few. It was maybe, I say about 5-10 minutes.
Probably.
Yeah. And so the lady comes back and she goes, hey, all right, y'all gotta leave. So I'm getting kicked out in the middle of the solo with like 5 or 6 other dudes that are all just standing in the doorway, cramped up, because you know the place is small.
Yeah.
And so I called my wife. I'm like, babe, like they just kicked me out. And she's like, well, go back in and ask them, can you stay in there for $20? And I'm like, that's weird. I don't want to really bother anybody, you know.
Yeah.
So I listen and I go back in there and I'm like, hey, can you ask the owner, can I come back in and stand here for $20? She said, give me a few minutes. Now I get to watch the rest of the solo.
Nice.
So even if I get kicked out,
you still got to see some more.
I'm cool with it because I just saw the whole solo.
Yeah.
But she comes back and tells me to sit down. And I'm like, $20? I guess somebody had, between us getting kicked out and me calling my wife, somebody leaves. And it's one seat left.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so, I mean, because of how tiny it was, the occupancy thing, the capacity was.
Yeah, that's a whole nother thing.
That whole thing was tough.
And I miss Dennis there because she didn't promote it well. I mean, they didn't promote it well.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me.
But anyway, just getting to see him, and he was surprised by the compliment I gave him backstage. He was like, "Wow, you know."
Yeah,
you were back
I was right there.
But all I said was, and I think that's why it's okay to meet the guys that inspire you.
Yeah.
People say don't meet your heroes and none of that like that.
Which I get when it's
especially
a letdown,
after a
tough.
show.
Yeah.
Like touring, I can understand why you don't want to walk up on nobody.
Yeah.
But all I did was tell them, thank you for taking what you do seriously, because you've allowed what you love to motivate what I love.
Yep.
And he was like, huh.
Yeah.
And that's when we took the picture. And, you know, but I just wanted to make sure it was impactful to understand that thank you.
Yeah.
Because you being a stickler for being that great and wanting to take it to that level has motivated hundreds, if not hundreds of thousands of drummers to take it seriously and go to another level and actually see themselves being somebody in the drumming world. So
right. And that's why I put him on my top, just seeing how dedicated he was, regardless of the venue, regardless of the gig. I have heard stories about Vinny like being in the studio and playing some jazz thing and having his phone on the floor, Tom, and like the dude looks in and he's like got the news pulled up on his phone or whatever.
Why he's
still sounds good, you know what I mean?
Wow,
but it's like
crazy.
Yeah. Just because, and it kind of makes sense because he's been doing it so long. Like
it's second nature.
Yeah. You know, and especially if it's a quote unquote easier, you know, thing that he's playing, it's like it's probably like chewing gum for him. You know what I mean? So he's
Yeah.
But with Dave, it was like, man, this dude he's just on it.
Yeah.
You know, like everything he does.
Yeah. And my first time seeing that VHS, you know, at a buddy's house, I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
I don't think I know what I'm doing. Of course I didn't. But I was in drumline. I'm like, yeah, I'm killing it, man. Flop, 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 flop. You know, I'm playing Quince, and I'm like, yeah, I'm the man. And then I seen that VHS, and I was like, wait.
We even doing that? We
I
playing
have
the same
no
instrument?
idea what I'm doing. So yeah, I agree with you with Dave, man. He's my top one.
And not to mention too, the first place we get to in Chattanooga, the sound guy was a drummer. He's like, man, I'm really excited, you know, to mix for him and everything. Davis, he's so type A, he's so on it.
Yeah.
He makes his own mix.
And then
he makes his own mix. He's got his own mixer up next to him or behind him on the stage, and he just sends the sound guy left and right. And the dude was like kind of bummed, right? He's like, I was like, hey man, you know.
I mean, you still get to turn the volume up for him.
It's his gig, right? But after, the dude goes, man, I've never had drum sound that good in here.
He knows what he's doing.
Yeah. That's why he's the GOAT.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, so I don't really, you know, have a Mount Rushmore, man. I've asked people this question, and just talking to Nick DiVirgilio at NAMM this past year, he kind of made me realize that this might be a stupid question. Not in that way, but when you ask it, you're asking somebody to eliminate other drummers,
of course,
for their top 4. And when he got to naming people in that interview I did with him, man, it was just like, oh wait, it's like, can I really do a top 4?
Well, because the reality is, number one, it's subjective.
Yeah,
right. It's all purely opinion based. There are certain things you can sort of qualify or
disqualify.
Right.
Yeah.
But aside from that, the world of music is just, it's way too massive to really know, or to really just pick one, because like you said, you are eliminating
Billy Cobb,
so many other people.
Like, I mean,
the list goes on and on.
The list is vast. I think it's really subjective. Like you said, it's based on who had an impact on you.
Have you ever read the Rolling Stone magazine?
Mm-mm.
Never heard of Rolling Stone magazine?
Yeah, of course. But is it a certain article?
They did an article, the top 100. I'm pretty sure they labeled it top 100 greatest drummers of all time. Do me a favor, don't read it.
Oh, we're gonna next episode. we're gonna start the next episode by reading what he just said.
Bro, it's gonna make you mad. I'm blanking on who they picked.
So what year did this come out?
Years ago, probably mid 2000s, I think.
And if it's wrong, man, it's definitely gonna be wrong now.
The thing is,
is it based off on like who the drummer plays for? Because that's a whole nother thing. It's a lot of guys that are really with big acts that aren't.
It feels like more of a popularity contest.
That's what I was gonna get at.
If I remember correctly, Vinny was like in the 80s.
Yeah, we're not gonna read that. We're absolutely not gonna read that. Like,
that's what I'm saying, man.
There's no way.
That's what I'm saying. I told you it was going to make you mad because.
So is it based off money?
It feels like more of, when you read the list, it feels like more of a popularity contest.
Like who the people know.
Like a lot of the top 10 was like drummers from like the most famous bands of all time.
That's
like
what
I'm pretty
saying.
sure Ringo was in the top 10, which no hate on Ringo, as much hate as there has been in the world.
Why do people hate Ringo? Let's just get to that real quick. I'm sorry to pivot, but why do people hate Ringo?
I think the biggest,
because I've never disliked anything he's done. I don't.
No, he's incredible and he's super innovative.
Everybody has their time.
Especially when you listen to what every other drummer at the time was playing, he stands out.
Everybody
hugely.
has their time.
I think the biggest gripe or whatever you want to call it, the biggest knock against him that people say is, of the 4 Beatles, people considered him the least talented, which...
That's what they do to drummers. That's a whole nother conversation. But that's what they do to drummers.
Yep.
Yeah. That's a whole nother conversation.
Yeah. So in terms of that, it's I'm pretty sure.
I mean, I've seen people take like little shots at him, but I never understood like why. I've never been the guy to hate on a drummer.
Well, here's the thing. If you know the history of the Beatles, they had a different guy, Pete Best.
Yeah.
And as they started to really make some noise and grow their audience, they were like, hey, this guy's not cutting it.
Yeah, that's what they do.
So they went and pulled Ringo from a different band.
Yeah.
Because they were like, hey, we're trying to take this to the next level.
What's wrong with that?
And then obviously they became the biggest band in the history of the world. So he was doing something right.
Yeah.
But I think, it's like a comparative thing compared to the other 4.
You can't do that though.
I know.
Which is not fair.
I know. It's silly.
But I've never been the guy to hate on a drummer because everybody's got their time. Everybody has their thing. And everybody is not motivated by the same thing.
Well,
everybody doesn't play the same music.
Yeah.
Everybody doesn't grow up the same. Everybody's experience is the same.
Right.
It's not the same. So, I mean, there's some drummers that, I'm not a fan of, but I'm not gonna bash them. Like, I don't understand that.
Yeah, same.
Everybody's got their thing.
As you know, just making a splash in the music industry at all is incredibly difficult.
Absolutely.
And if you're the drummer in a band that blows up, becomes famous,
somebody's not gonna like you.
Even if it's not about you, so to speak, even if your parts are not that intricate, whatever, like you were part of that. And if it was a different guy,
he'll be a part of it.
Most likely wouldn't be the same thing.
Yeah.
Might not reach the same level of success.
Yeah.
There's been plenty of like the bands I grew up listening to, there's been plenty of them that have changed drummers over the years. And a few times I'm like,
not the same.
I'm just not as into it anymore.
Yeah.
The other guy I don't know if it's the chemistry or that his style worked better
you
with
can hear
their
it.
style. Oh yeah.
Yeah, you can hear it.
Yeah.
You can hear the change.
Yeah. There are certain bands where it's irreplaceable. Imagine trying to take Stuart Copeland out of the Police.
Yeah, okay.
They're not the Police anymore.
Yeah.
There's something else.
Yeah.
Right?
The Sheriffs.
Other bands, you can swap out guys and they'll play the parts, but it's when it comes to the newer music, the next album they make with the new drummer, 9 times out of 10, it's like for better or for worse, you can hear it, you go, it's just not the same thing. It's not the same band anymore. Same name, just not the same band.
Same thing though, subjective, because somebody else might not know nothing but the new drummer.
Sure, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So that's why I don't really, everybody's got their time, everybody's got their thing.
Which outside of drummers, that's kind of true for everything. There's been other bands where they've changed bass players or
lead
or
guitar players.
I mean, shoot, the Chili Peppers have had like 7 or 8 guitarists.
I will say Mars Volta hasn't been the same since Thomas left.
Oh, you might not like this, but I like the guy before Thomas better, John Theodore.
I don't know, man.
And it might just be because of those.
Well, see,
albums.
I didn't know Mars until Thomas. See, that's the point I was making.
Yeah.
All I know is Thomas.
Yeah.
You see, so now if I go back and listen to it, then I'm like, oh, okay, I can get it.
Yeah.
But that's the point I was making earlier. Like, all I know is Thomas.
To your point, though, Thomas was the perfect fit for that album.
Absolutely.
Had they tried to make that album with the other guy, I don't think it would have been as good.
Thomas can play everything right-handed that he can play left-handed.
That's insane.
Like, everything he can do with his right side of his body, he can do with the left. That is insane.
Yeah, he's incredible.
Yeah.
All right, so if you had to narrow it down,
man,
and just pick one, say to battle for your life.
Oh,
you got to pick
what
one
kind of
guy.
battle we talking? Because I might go Tony.
In a drum battle?
Yeah.
Like a circa 2015, whenever they stopped doing it.
Whoa, wait.
Guitar Center, drum off.
See, I would go Dave.
You got to, right?
I got to go Dave. Yeah. Well, see, I don't know, man. Chris would kill that.
You've heard that
Chris will kill that.
If not, I'm gonna send it to you. You've heard and especially watch the video
with them too.
Yeah, doing Higher Ground.
Listen. Did you watch Benny and Chris?
No.
We'll check that out.
Okay.
After, yeah,
we got to share some stuff.
Yeah,
There's also the one of Benny and JoJo.
Never seen that.
It's just the two of them.
Yeah, I haven't seen that.
And I think JoJo starts out with brushes, but bro, it's just like a 13-minute conversation on the drums between two of the best drummers ever. Just completely.
So when are we gonna do that?
Ooh,
yeah, a little pressure.
I'm pretty busy.
A little pressure, huh? But you need to send that to me, and I'll send you the
for sure.
The Benny and the.
But
I think that was last summer though. I think Benny and Chris was
really
like last summer. Yeah.
Oh wow, that's recent.
I think it was a Benny's clinic or something, like some big room.
Oh cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does a lot of those camps, which is amazing because it's one of those things like he doesn't have to do this, but he wants to.
But I think that's what's part of being the GOAT. That's you
sure.
know, I feel like the GOAT has to have an educator inside of him.
Yep. And that's my only.
And to go back what you were saying earlier, he had like Dennis. He's done, clinics, and actually he's a part of the Dave Welker clinic with Peter Erskine.
Who
else is on there?
There's another one.
Yeah,
Erskine.
yeah, golly. See, that's why you can't. This GOAT talk can literally go on and on because
forever.
Listen, if you ask guys 10 years older than us, it's not going to be Dave.
Oh yeah.
You ask guys 15, 20 years older than them, it's not going to be Dave. You see what I'm saying? It's like it's based on era, and that's why I was saying about Benny.
I feel like anyone older than us is almost. I'd bet almost all of them going to say Buddy Rich.
Yeah, and Ringo.
Because
And
interesting.
who else you think they're gonna say? Neil Peart.
Oh yeah.
Neil is gonna be on a lot of them,
Yeah.
and phenomenal drum parts.
Yeah.
And I really feel like he changed the game on the way drummers were able to write songs.
Yeah.
Because nobody was thinking like that.
Right.
Like nobody, and that's another one. Like I can't play any of that. Like,
man, and talk about
can't play any of that music.
Talk about a technician. When I saw them live, I mean, it was.
Wait, so you actually got
Yeah.
to? Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you cook right now.
I'm pretty sure. I want to say it was the Snakes and Arrows tour. But man, I have, most time you see a band, especially a rock band
Right.
live, it's a little loose. It's a little off the album, so
Yeah.
to speak. You know what I mean? It's rock and roll,
Yeah.
right? This dude, every song, note for note,
That's
did not
crazy.
miss a. It's sound. You close your eyes, like this is the record. I'm just hearing the record played through live speakers right now.
Yeah.
He was just on it, man. It was unreal. I mean, the whole everybody sounded.
What
great.
year was this?
Ooh, 2011 maybe.
Yeah.
At the that amphitheater in Alpharetta.
Yeah.
I think it's called Ameris now.
Yeah.
It was at Verizon, I think, at the time, but yeah, it was unbelievable.
Yeah, I think we'll talk about this in another episode, but the downside about being a touring drummer is you miss a lot of shows. You miss a lot of chances to be inspired.
Yeah.
But you're doing what you want to do. So it's like, is it a negative?
I mean, the best you can hope for is if
they come on a Wednesday.
If who you're touring with
oh man, they're here on a Wednesday.
Or if who you're touring with has a, if they're opening for somebody or somebody's opening for you, or you know what I mean?
That's not happening.
And in which case, you get to see somebody else, but otherwise, yeah.
Well, I will say, I've got to see some cool drummers in the country world. But as far as like the guys I grew up listening to, I don't really get to see them.
Yeah.
Because of scheduling and let me say this, all you dope drummers, come back to Atlanta. I know we don't have, so we have Atlanta Drum Shop, which he's throwing clinics, but like let's book the Variety Playhouse. Let's we need, Dave in the Variety. We need Dennis in the, we need Chris, we need Benny. We need these guys. And that's what, I'm going to try to do with the Authority Percussion is like build a hub here so we can get these guys here. Man, because I shouldn't have to drive to Nashville to see Nate Smith. I should be able to see him right here.
It's crazy because, Atlanta has the busiest airport on the planet.
Yes.
It is such a hub.
And they all have to come through here to go somewhere.
Yeah, it's such a hub for everything else. And we have plenty of arenas and venues and convention centers. And
I shouldn't have to travel 5 hours to go.
We got Dragon Con. We can't get drummers here.
Yeah, we got Sneaker Con, Dragon Con. Yeah. Can we get our favorite drummers?
I guess we're starting Drummer Con. Actually, no, I take it back. That's going to be way too loud.
He just left me hanging. Well, guys, I think that'll do it. What
so
else?
we decided.
I mean, I don't have a 4.
But it's Dave.
Yeah, I mean,
if we both had to pick one, it's Dave. There's your answer.
I feel like giving both of them a mic just to ask them because I want to show you that
we can ask everybody. Put it in the comments. Whoever you think your GOAT is.
Who is your
just pick
GOAT?
one. Let's not get into the Mount Rushmore, all of that. Just pick one.
No, I want one in the possible. I want your second one too.
Okay.
Because I want to know the mindset. I want to know how.
Sure.
Because somebody might just say somebody because they're
pick
famous.
One or two and also tell us why. Put it in the comments,
please.
Yeah.
But I think we can agree at Dave, and we're also around the same age.
Yeah.
So I think that's why
But for all the different things, the multiple styles, the educator, the consistency, the evolution over time.
Yeah. Made waves after waves after waves. Motivated drummers, even to this day. Like going to NAMM and seeing Dave, and I'm standing in the back of the room because I can't even get to him.
Oh yeah.
Like
he's that guy.
And like I'm literally in the back of the room with a 360 stick that's like 6 feet tall, and everybody's just looking at me, and I just got this big old 360 camera. Like hopefully I can get this.
He's that guy.
Just seeing that and all the age gap was every generation that was there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think we can agree on Dave.
There you have it, guys. That's the GOAT, Dave Weckl.
Dave Weckl.
Now we know.
Dennis, I love you. But I think Dave got it because of that VHS, man.
Yeah.
I think that VHS really changed my life, like, in all honesty.
That's fair.
And
yeah,
forget that kid that I saw that with. He screwed me over later on in life, but actually maybe like 6 months later. But yeah, Dave, I think.
All right,
Dave
now we know.
Yeah.
All right, guys, thank you for watching. Stay with us. We're gonna have a lot more conversations like this,
Yes,
many other
sir.
things. We're gonna have guests. We're gonna be doing all kinds of stuff on this podcast. And anything else?
Peace.
Eric Lee, Sterling Whiteside, at Eric Lee Drumming on all social media, at Sterling Whiteside on all social media, and at For the Drummers. That's the number 4, The Drummers. Check us out on all social media. We'll see y'all next week.
Peace and chicken grease.